What's going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and welcome back to the TBL. This is going to be the Week 1 team builder. We're going up against the ParaHax brothers, Kyle and Steve, aka Magnitude and KyleAye. Now, unfortunately, we're going to lose this game because we don't have Aromatisse, and if we want to beat Kyle, you just bring Aromatisse. So unfortunately, we don't have that. But we have something. We have the second best fairy under Aromatisse and Alchemy. So that's pretty cool. However, I have Mono with me. Say hi, Mono. Okay,
Hello.
I didn't give you permission to talk that much. Can you just not talk that much, please? Thank you.
Okay.
So let's look at the matchup real quick. So their team is super, super weird. What I mean by that, hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. I was in the process of responding to John about a VGC team, which took a little bit of precedence over Mono, so I wanted to go ahead and respond to that. But anyway, their team is very interesting because they don't have any hazard removal, literally at all. So we want to try to take advantage of that as much as possible. Then what we want to do is we want to try to chip everything down with our bulk because they're going to struggle to break through a lot of our bulk. We just have a really good matchup with our bulk, including with hazards. So is there anything on their team that you're particularly scared of, Mono?
Uh, well, Dracovish, even though we have a water immunity and we have various other answers to it, is kind of just always a problem. It's always scary, if we lose our Vaporeon for whatever reason, it can kind of run a train on our team. Outside of that, Lucario can also be a bit threatening. Obviously, E-Speed at +2 does a lot of damage to our team. But other than that, those are the two primary things that I'm afraid of. Maybe a little bit of Darmanitan, but we do have a couple fire resists and some priority on our team, so hopefully we'll be able to manage that pretty well.
Yep. Okay, let's go ahead and just start talking about the team. So we have Rapid.
Nicknames were his idea, by the way.
No, they were not. Don't
They
even
were.
lie.
They 100% were.
No, they were not, you bitch. So we have Excelgor, super obvious. 0 HP, 0 defense, 0 Spadef, because we want to make sure that we go down to our Focus Sash turn 1 to be able to get up as many hazards as possible. Now, it's gonna be dependent on what our opponents bring, because if we see Umbreon, we're gonna want to get a Toxic Spike, like 2 Toxic Spikes up. But if we see no Umbreon, we're gonna want to get one of each up, correct?
Yeah, essentially. With Umbreon, 2 T-Spikes is a little bit better. It'll pressure it to go for Heal Bell a little bit earlier if it has it, and we want that racking up damage, because outside of their fetch, we don't hit it particularly hard.
Yeah. And having the toxic damage off on it plus the Wish Pass from our Vaporeon back here is super important. So it's going to depend on what we see, but ultimately this just has a really, really, really good matchup for leading off, getting up hazards, and doing a lot of damage. We do outspeed... Is it Choice Scarf Dracovish? I believe?
Yes, we have to see Jolly Choice Scarf Dracovish with this.
Yeah. And then max special attack a little bit and special attack for damage. It literally super easy EV spread. Next up, we have our Mr. Rhyme. Now, do you mind if I talk about this one since I did the EV spread and everything?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so this has the ability to outspeed Adamant Dracovish. It has enough special attack investment to be able to to Oko max HP Dracovish after a spike. It also has enough bulk. I think the Spadef is to be able to take... Is it 2 Aura Spheres? From
The def
Lucario?
of what we have, it's definitely take at least 1 flash cannon.
Yeah.
It's also nice to have some general bulk on this, just kind of in general, so we can potentially get a spin off or go for a slack off a little bit later, depending on what it is. I believe we do take a bullet punch from Lucario as well if he's running that over something like Meteor Mash, which is nice.
We also 2-shot Runerigus, which is super important because it's his only spin blocker. If he sets up hazards on us, like webs from Galvantula, for instance. So super important to be able to spin block, or I'm sorry, to be able to pressure his spin blocker. So very cool EV spread. Baton Pass is there to gain momentum. we can gain momentum versus things like the Runerigus, because it's his only switch into this realistically is either Umbreon or Steelix. If he wants to do that, then we drop in our Surfetched and we get a kill and a half.
Yeah, either of those the bird deals with, and when the bird comes in, something dies.
Yep. So really cool. Do you want to talk about the cream pie?
So the cream pie, as you can see here, we're wanting a mixed defensive set. 244 HP, 128, 136 the def with the calm nature, with recover, aromatherapy, mystical fire, and dazzling gleam. We kind of wanted to bring setup this week, but we decided that having more of a support mon for the rest of our team was a little bit better. Aromatherapy is very important for things like potentially Surfetched or Vaporeon if either of them get poisoned or burnt respectively. Like aromatherapy is really nice for that. Dazzling Gleam Mystical Fire is essentially all the coverage that we need for his team. As you can take a look at it, it hits everything either neutrally or super effectively, which is really nice. We can also use
Aside from
this
the
as
Darmanitan, that's the only
aside
thing.
from aside from Darm, but we don't really get anything in our move pool to deal with that, and we do have Vaporeon right over here that will hopefully be able to help us out a little bit versus that that boy over there. Plus, we do have some priority on Cinderace, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But Alchemy, nice little defensive pivot for his team. It deals with things like the Mimikyu before it sets up to +4, I believe. Can take, I believe it was, 2 Life Orb Thunders from Galvantula?
It takes 2 Life Orb Thunders after
Yeah,
Stealth Rocks.
takes 2 Life Orb Thunders from Galvantula after Rocks, which is really nice. We have the Mystical Fire to hit the Steelix, which is pretty nice. Obviously, we don't want to use this as our Swoobat check because it can kind of set up on us, but it can take a hit from Swoobat if it's not, nasty plot for whatever reason. And like we said, it's nice to deal with something like the Umbreon, which is a little bit of an annoyance for our team outside of Surfetch.
Yeah. Overall, it's just a really good bulky pivot versus his special mons. And I think it'll be really annoying for him to try to kill, which is kind of cool. So next up, we have the Vaporeon. Now, you had a lot to do with this team, with this specific set.
Yes. So, number one, we are not. Number one, we are post Pokemon Home, so we could run Yawn if we wanted to, Steve, but we're not. Secondly, we have.
Evil.
I still cry a little inside. Anyway, Scald, Wish Protect, Ice Beam. This was a difficult set to come up with because we really wanted Baton Pass for the initiative, but then we couldn't fit something like Ice Beam, and Ice Beam was very important in case they decided to bring something like a Sub Dracovish. Like, if we're just running Scald, we're not going to be able to do anything to it. He can just run Sub Dracovish. We wouldn't touch it. We couldn't break its sub. He just does whatever he wants with us. So we wanted Ice Beam on there, which is also why the special attack investment is there, so we can guaranteed break a sub, as well as, I believe, deal a little bit additional damage to things like the Steelix and Lucario and the Darmanitan and Runerigus.
Max HP Dracovich's sub is broken from Ice Beam.
Yeah, that's specifically why we have 24 Modest onto there. And then we were also looking at it, and we realized that Araquanid traps us and destroys us, even though we have Heal Bell on Alchemy. If they are running the Spiderweb set with Toxic, we just lose our Vaporeon to Araquanid, which we didn't want to do. So we actually decided to end up running Shed Shell, which is really nice versus him because it allows us to not be trapped by the Spiderweb set from Araquanid, which is super nice. We come in, we take a Liquidation, he hits us with a Spiderweb after as we get some Scald Chip off. He thinks we're trapped, so he goes for Toxic. Meanwhile, we actually just switch out into something else and deal with it that way. Which is really nice for him. And again, Vaporeon is huge this game. Like, if we lose it, we kind of just lose the Scarf Dracovish, so we need this around as long as possible. And yeah, Shed Shell, super nice. Fizz Def to take on the Dracovish as well as the Darmanitan primarily. Can even take a hit from Lucario. So yeah, that's our fishy boy.
Yeah, and so the big thing that we both agree on is that if Araquanid comes, our only switch into it is Vaporeon. Like, we can't switch into Liquidation plus Sticky Webs plus a bunch of other stuff in general. So because of that, I'm fully expecting him to be like Spiderweb, Toxic, Rest, Sleep Talk, to be able to trap us in, kill us, and then be really freaking annoying. Now, if our Vaporeon dies, we lose the Choice Scarf Darmanitan. So it's super important that we don't have that happen, which is why we have Shell Bell. So, yeah.
Shed Chill, yeah, which is very important. And if he does, if he is the Toxic set, I would much rather switch like Sirfetch'd into a Toxic than get our Vaporeon Toxic and have it slowly die.
Yeah, we do have aromatherapy on Alchemy for that, but still.
Mm-hmm. All right, next one.
Next up, we have is Cinderace, which is just U-turn, Powerball, Taunt, Sucker Punch, super simple spread. The 88 in attack is actually just enough to be able to, I believe, two-shot Steelix after spikes if we get up 2 spikes. I believe.
Cool.
If it's Spadef.
I don't
If it's
remember most
Spadef.
of my EV spread. Yeah, I don't remember most of my EV spreads after I make the team either. I just like throw them on there, and I assume that I did good earlier. Like, thanks, past me. I'm sure you did fine.
Yeah. So it is very good at just dealing with pretty much everything. We're able to taunt Umbreon. We're able to U-turn out against it. We're able to Pyro Ball Steelix, Pyro Ball Runerigus. We do a lot of damage to pretty much everything on the entire team. And the only switch-in they have to this is Araquanid. And if we're able to switch around on that, then we're fine. Also, I just remembered what this 36 special tag investment also did. On Mr. Rhyme, it also guaranteed 2-shot max HP Araquanid.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Spider Boy.
Yeah, so that was really cool. Yeah, Cinderace is just a really good pivot this game, and then of course the breaker that is just so stupid. This Pokemon's dumb.
It really is. I absolutely love this thing. Close combat, first impression, Brave Bird, and Leaf Blade with the leak. So we're not running Banded, but I believe what leak makes crits 50% often to happen, or there's a 50% chance to get a crit, something along those lines. I don't care about the math, whatever.
Yeah.
I was done with school a while ago. Anyway.
Especially math.
Especially math. So close combat is the move we're going to be clicking most often. Obviously, it hits pretty much everything neutrally outside of a few obscure things like Swoobat and what's it called? Araquanid, which obviously we have Knockoff and Brave Bird for respectively. Leaf Blade is also going to be able to hit the Mimikyu, which is kind of nice. Mimikyu can't one-shot us with Play Rough, which is really nice because it's a little bit weak before it starts setting up, so we'll be able to break that thing's disguise for potentially something like Cinderace to revenge kill it a little bit later. First impression, also nice for the priority. Something like, a weakened Dracovish, we can click first impression versus
Darmanitan as well.
Like a chip down Darmanitan, we can click first impression against, do a lot of damage. Crit Leaf Blade, I believe, is a 2-hit KO onto Runerigus, which is really nice. We don't even necessarily have to predict it coming in as well, because we can click close combat and then knock it out with the Leaf Blade afterwards.
So yeah, exactly. Close combat into crit Leaf Blade kills Max Fizdef Runerigus.
Yeah, and with Leaf Blade being a high crit move plus the leak, there's a very, very high chance that we crit it with Leaf Blade.
I think it's like a 90% chance.
Yeah, if it's not guaranteed, it's a very, very high chance that we crit it, which is really nice. Yeah, and outside of that, it just deals with everything that he has. Umbreon, main wall on his team, destroyed by it. Steelix, same thing, destroyed by close combat. Araquanid, where you outspeed and we hit with a Brave Bird, knock it out with a crit. Galvantula doesn't OHKO us. It lives basically any hit and then kills something.
Yep.
I'm very much looking forward to using it in the game.
Yep. And that is the team that we're going to be bringing versus the ParaHax brothers, Steve and KyleAye. Their links will be down in the description below, as well as Monotooi's. Mono will have the battle up on his side this week, so make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all very much for watching. Any last words, Mono?
No.
Good talk. Okay. Bye, guys. Thanks again for watching.